What's going on, everybody? It's Alex here with Natural Health and Fitness Tips, and today we're going to be talking about diabetes and hormones. Now, most of the time when you think about diabetes and you think about hormones, the first hormone that comes to mind is insulin. And insulin is very important when it comes to diabetes. That's the primary hormone that we measure when we want to see if someone's pre-diabetic or diabetic. But that's not the hormone I'm going to be talking about. This one's a little bit behind insulin, but it's still very, very important, and it's linked directly to insulin, and it's a hormone called leptin. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how leptin functions, why it matters for diabetes, and also 3 tips that you can use today to increase your leptin sensitivity, okay? So let's get right into it. All right, leptin is a hormone that's produced by your fat cells, and it helps regulate your hunger and helps control your appetite. All right, and since leptin is a satiety hormone and it's produced by the fat cells, more fat would equal more leptin, right? The more fat cells you have, the more leptin you're going to produce. And since leptin is a satiety hormone, that might make you think, well, okay, if I have more fat cells, more leptin, then I'll have a lower appetite. But that's not always the case. Really what we want to look at when it comes to leptin is your leptin sensitivity. How well can your brain receive the leptin that's in your blood and tell yourself that, hey, your body's not hungry anymore, it's time to stop eating, instead of going on those sort of binge cycles where you eat, you don't feel satisfied or full, you just keep on eating. So in that way, it's a lot like insulin. You know, if you have high levels of insulin in the blood, eventually you become insulin resistant and the insulin doesn't work as well. That's how you develop type 2 diabetes. So when we're talking about diabetes, we want to address insulin, and we're talking about leptin. So how do insulin and leptin work together? Well, actually, high insulin levels lowers your leptin sensitivity. So high levels of insulin decrease your leptin sensitivity and make you crave food more even after you eat. So low leptin sensitivity causes food cravings. You eat more food and your insulin levels rise. When your insulin levels rise, you become less leptin sensitive, which makes you hungry again. You eat more food, insulin levels rise again, and you can kind of see this vicious cycle that you get into, and we wind up binge eating a whole bag of chips, an entire pizza, something like that, and it just degrades from there, okay? So how do we break out of this cycle? How do we increase our leptin sensitivity and fight those cravings and keep from binge eating? So we want to increase our leptin sensitivity, and that actually gives us more energy. It helps promote our weight loss, helps make us feel more satisfied after eating, and will ultimately get us to our weight loss goals much, much faster. So how do we improve leptin sensitivity? Well, here I've got 3 tips for you that'll help increase your leptin sensitivity. They're very basic, very simple. You can incorporate them today and increase your leptin sensitivity as early as tomorrow, all right? All right, so the first tip to increase your leptin sensitivity is to stay active. And I'm talking about activity relative to your fitness level, all right? I'm not recommending that you go out and do a 3-hour intense cardio session, something like high intensity interval training or strength training or anything like that if you can't handle it. Now, if all you can do is get up and stay standing for a little bit at a time, that's fine. Just get your heart rate elevated. Maybe you walk around the neighborhood for 15, 20 minutes. That could be great. Just stay active. Don't do nothing. You know, you gotta stay at least a little bit active. Stay active relative to your fitness level, okay? And now, tip number 2 is to reduce stress. Now, stress plays a huge role in cravings. I mean, when we all know this just intuitively, right? If you get really stressed, you automatically go to food. It's a comfort, you know, you want the potato chips, you want the pizza. And if we reduce our stress, then those cravings also go down. For me personally, I love to meditate to reduce my stress. I like to read as well. Whatever activity lowers your stress, you want to make sure that you're giving yourself the time, you budget the time to sit down and read, sit down and knit or cook or whatever it is that'll help reduce your stress levels and keep those cravings down, okay? Also, getting plenty of sun, actually vitamin D can really help reduce your stress levels overall, and it's just nice and relaxing being outside in nature sometimes, you know? All right, guys, the third tip that I've got for you is to get the proper nutrients, the proper nutrition in your diet to make sure that you're increasing your leptin sensitivity. All right, so we want to focus on your macronutrients, your carbs, fats, and proteins, making sure that those are in the right proportion for your body and your lifestyle. This can be different for every person, but you want to focus on it and make sure that those are dialed in to make sure that you can increase your leptin sensitivity. Micronutrients are very important. Getting high nutrient dense fruits and vegetables in your diet is really, really important. That's going to regulate all those hormones, not just leptin, but insulin, ghrelin, cortisol. All those things are directly correlated to your nutrient intake, your micronutrient intake. All right, so make sure that those are coming in your diet. And I want to call out omega-3 fatty acids in particular, just because they're so potent at increasing the amount of leptin that you have in your blood, and also increasing the likelihood that you'll keep the weight off that you do lose after you're done losing all your weight, okay? So there you go. We talked about leptin. We talked about how leptin and insulin are related and how that relates to diabetes. We recommended also that you get plenty of exercise, that you get the proper nutrition in your diet to increase leptin sensitivity, and make sure that you reduce your stress. Guys, keep your stress levels low so that your cravings are low and you don't enter that vicious cycle, remember, of getting your cravings, eating a bunch of food, increasing your insulin, increasing your leptin, and decreasing both insulin sensitivity and leptin sensitivity. You want to stay out of that cycle, reduce your stress, and stay out of the cravings, okay? All right, that's it for this video. Make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned for more videos in the future. Thanks.